Respectable, the Dean of the Faculty Tarbiyah and Teacher Training, Dr. Ahmad Ismail MAG. Honorable, the first Vice Dean, Dr. Mahfud Junaidi MAG. Honorable, the second Vice Dean, Dr. Andes Muslim MAG. Honorable, the third Vice Dean, Professor Dr. Muslih MAG. Honorable, the Chief of Islamic Education, Dr. Fihris MAG. And all of the audiences from the International Class Program. First of all, let's thank to Allah who has been giving us mercies and blessings, so we can gather in this place without any problem and obstacles. Secondly, peace and salutation always be given to our Prophet Muhammad SAW, who has guided us from the darkness to the brightness. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Naimatus Sa'adatul Munah. It is our pleasure to welcome you here this morning. We hope that we are always in healthy condition. Amin, amin, ya rabbal alamin. We would like to thank you for joining us today for this special lecturing session entitled Pedagogical Content Knowledge and Hot Practice in Eastern Indonesia, with our guest lecturer from the Flinders University of Australia. We welcome you, Mrs. Wilmed Julete, PhD. We are very thankful to have you here today. Ladies and gentlemen, on this auspicious occasion, allow me to read the several sequences of our agenda. The first agenda is the opening. The second agenda is speech from the Secretary of Islamic Education, Dr. Kasan Bisri MA. The third agenda is lecturing material from our guest lecturer, Mrs. Wilmed Juliet, PhD, and the last agenda is closing. Okay. To start our event this morning, let's read Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you. At this time, we would like to invite our Secretary of Islamic Education to give the keynote speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Kasan Bisri, MA.
Yes, thank you so much, Mbak Naim. Nah, terima kasih. Okay. First of all, I would like to say and welcome to our guest lecture today, Ms. Julete. Yeah.
Thank you.
Our distinguished guest lecture today from Flinders University. And my beloved brother, Mas Ersat. Yeah. He is now a lecturer in our faculty, our department. Okay. And my beloved students from Islamic Education Department, especially from international class. And I would like to express my sincere gratitude and welcome to Miss Juliet. Ya, terima kasih dan selamat datang di kampus kami secara virtual begitu.
It's my pleasure, Pak.
Thank you for being here with us to share the new knowledge, new insight. I hope it will become a very, very nutritious knowledge for our student.
Yeah.
And I would like to say that Islamic Education Department, or we say PAI, PAI, Pendidikan Agama Islam. This is one of the oldest department in our campus, Universitas Islam Negeri Wali Songo Semarang. This is the oldest one and the biggest one, the biggest department. So there are many students here. And usianya kurang lebih sudah 52 years old to Juliet. It's quite
older than me.
And the audience are the students of international class. Islamic education, but this is what we say prototype class. Yeah,
I see.
We hope that this class will be the pilot project for the next years and the future time for our campus. That Faculty of Education should be an international class, should have international class in every department. And now we have 3 international class in Islamic education, English department, English education department, and English Arabic department. There are 3 international class, but now we are on Islamic education department. And that's a little about our institution, Miss Juliet, and I hope next years we can invite you. It's not only for conference, maybe for doing research together is never mind. I hope our campus open wide door opportunity to do some collaboration. And we have some lecturers graduated from Flinders, like Pak Sukendar, maybe you have known.
Oh, I think I know Pak Sukendar.
Yeah, he is the big one.
He is my senior when I did my master degree, I think, back then in 2012, 2013.
He takes PhD degree in Flinders. I don't know the...
Yes. He used to be my senior in the university. Yeah.
His dissertation about the family. I don't know what family and conflict in family or resolution conflict in family, I guess.
I see. Yeah, very interesting.
Okay. And thank you for being here once more. And I want to say to all of my students, all of our audience now, I hope you all can follow this lecture with full of intention, attention, and don't be shy to ask if you have any question to Lete. And I think it will be nice if we share your experiences, and you can ask to Miss Juliet, who has very great experience on maybe on the knowledge, and also how did Miss Juliet did a research and give some training to the teachers in rural area of Indonesia. And that's all that I can say. May Allah and my God bless us all with good condition to make our lecture today become a successful and enjoyable one. That's all. Thank you so much. Akhirul kalam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi.
Thank you, Dr. Kasan Bisri, for your amazing speech. And to our main event, the lecturing session with our guest lecturer, Mrs. Wilmen Juliet, PhD, will be continued by our special moderator. For our brother, Mr. Muhammad Faki Irsyad, MED, the time is yours.
Thank you so much, Naimatul Adatul Muna, for giving me time to hold this moment in this beautiful morning. Hello, everyone. Good morning. How's it going today? This is Australian culture when we call people, how is it going today?
Okay, how is it? Everything is fine, yes?
It's fine. Thank you so much for the time for me. Okay, first of all, I would like to thank to Dr. Fihris who led us to have this workshop or seminar lecture. And also I would like to thank you as well to Dr. Hasan Bisri. And also the most important thing, I would like to thank to amazing speaker today, Dr. Wilminche Julete. Thank you so much for attending this ceremony. We are so happy and so proud because you are here and can give us time to learn about your experiences and your amazing knowledge as well.
My pleasure.
Okay, well, brothers and sisters, I believe We are so lucky to have her today with us in beautiful morning. Before I let Dr. Juliette to talk about her experiences and her knowledge about her research and her study, I would like to read her CV because I think this is really important for you to know her as our speaker today. So honestly speaking, she has so many experiences and a lot here. I can't read all of them because it will take ages, but I will read maybe according to my understanding the important things that you need to know about her. So her name is Welminche Juliette, and she is living in Australia, South Australia, St. Mary's. And if you wanna know something, or if you have curiosity about something, just email her through cc.juliette@flinders.edu.au or wjuliette@gmail.com. According to her CV, she had been a research assistant, English teacher. I just read in summary: English instructors, English private teacher, freelance guide, founder of NGO at work on improving rural education in Sabu, Raijua Regency, and Titi, Indonesia, and so many. And currently, she is doing casual teaching academic and associate student learning advisor at Flinders University, Australia, who that as far as I know, teach about international students as well, who wanna come and study at Flinders, which is really amazing. So I would say who teach or who, train people who come overseas and study at Flinders is our Indonesian. So I would say amazing. Also, her experiences has so many as well, including volunteering Bahasa Indonesia teacher, interpreter, counselor, and also volunteering here as well. And she's done her study Bachelor of Education in Nusa Cendana University, Kupang, and continued with MA TESOL, Master of Art in Teaching English as Second Language at Flinders University, Australia. And currently she's done her study with PhD in Education and just finished last year, 2021 on September. She has so many engaging with seminar and conferences like English Australia Conference in Perth, in Adelaide, annual leadership program in Adelaide, and also join in seminar and conference as well, even in Indonesia. In Adelaide, Postgraduate Student Conference 2017, HDR Student Conference 2018 in Adelaide, and so many things here. I confused where I have to read. And third International Conference on Language Education and Social Science in Kupang. And she has so many achievements and awards, including Academic Internship Program for Doctoral Students 2020, and 3-minute thesis, 3MT Competition Final 2019, Flinders Foundation Studies Program, VSP Force Quality Advisory Group, and so many, including Australian Award Indonesia 2012-2013, we call as IAS or AAS. And the current or the last PhD research topic is about the influence of professional learning communities employing quality teaching framework on English as a foreign language teachers, pedagogical content knowledge for promotion of higher order thinking in rural area. This is the one that she will, present in this beautiful moment. I think that's enough. If you want to know more, you can have a look in her CV because it might take a lot of time to read all her achievement and experiences. So I would like to welcome to Dr. Welminche Julete to give her beautiful and amazing experiences and study. Please welcome to Dr. Welminche Julete.
Thank you very much, Pak Fakih, and thank you for reading my CV.
Yeah.
It's very long.
Yeah.
It's gonna take time.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start sharing my screen in a moment. And then during my presentation, if you have question, you can just ask question. It's fine. You can just raise your hand, I guess, or you can wait later on. But it's good to be interactive, so you not fall asleep.
Yeah.
Jadi bisa kalau ada pertanyaan bisa raise hand. Nanti saya kan bisa lihat toh. Bisa raise hand atau bisa langsung mic saja dan unmute yourself and then you can just ask question, bisa langsung bertanya sehingga kita bisa lebih interaktif. Okay?
Yes.
I'm gonna share my screen now. That's just my graduation pictures. All right. Alright everyone, selamat pagi semua yang ada di Indonesia, di Semarang. It's such a pleasure and such an honor to be able to share this presentation with you. Suatu kehormatan bisa berbagi sedikit dari penelitian dan ilmu yang saya pelajari selama berada di Flinders University dengan seluruh teman-teman di Indonesia. I will just say teman-teman di Indonesia. So the presentation today is about EFL teachers' perception on their pedagogic content knowledge and higher order thinking practice in Indonesia. So although it's for English teachers, but I think this will go across well with any teachers in this 21st century in regards to higher order thinking. So let's start our presentation. So the outline for today is I'm going to explain to you about what are the 21st century skills, what are hot skills, what is PCK, pedagogical content knowledge for teaching HOTS. It's why teachers need to understand HOTS, higher order thinking skills, and teach HOTS. And what are the state of Indonesian EFL teachers PCK and their HOTS knowledge and practice and their belief on teaching HOTS, and also what are their needs for teaching HOTS. And I will provide examples of HOTS activity, and we're gonna have a reflection together after the presentation. Q&A, question and answer can be all the way or also can be at the end. So feel free to ask question, okay? So if we talk about 21st century skill categories, there are three important skills. The first one is learning skills, or we call it the 4 C's, and then literacy skills, and then we have life skills. So all of these are very important for anyone to survive or to compete in this 21st century. If you're lacking, then it will be hard maybe for you to find a job or even to compete in the job market as well, to be a graduate ready for employability. Jadi kalau misalkan pada zaman sekarang tidak mempunyai 3 skill ini, akan sangat sulit mencari pekerjaan atau menciptakan lulusan atau wisudawan yang siap untuk berkompetensi di job market in Indonesia and even abroad. And then the 21st century skill, if we have a look from the literature, it's actually consists of learning skill, which is about critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. All of these are very important, not only in the classroom and then not only when you are learning yourself as a student, but later on when you are becoming a teacher, ketika Anda menjadi guru, it's very important for you to have critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication, because you wouldn't just work by yourself, you will work in collaboration with your other teachers within the schools, And even now, as a student, you work in collaboration with your friends, your peers as well. And then also, communication is very important. And then creativity and critical thinking. And then the next one is we go up to literacy skills, which is now it's the time where information and media and technology are rapidly changing. So it's very important you keep up with this. And then also life skills that you really need to have is flexibility. Look at what happened with COVID-19 pandemic. Everyone has to change from face-to-face to online to hybrid teaching. Kita semua ada perubahan ya selama COVID-19. We never imagine, kita tidak pernah bayangkan. Today I will be presenting for you. I'm from Adelaide using Zoom platform, which new, like 2019, we don't even know about it. And 2020, well, we start knowing about Zoom and using Zoom. Like it's like just like everyday needs, you know. It's not something wow or new. So this is part of being flexibility to adjust with new changing, and then you need to have it. And then leadership is very important life skill as well. You know, it's not just about leading others, but also leading your own self. And then initiative is very important. You have to be someone with giving new innovations. You know, for me, when I'm working in the university, saya bekerja di kampus, we are encouraged to be innovative every day. We have to create new things, new ways to help students understand the academic literacy, how they can success. We try different tools. So it's always changing, and it's always about innovation. It's about you take leadership of initiate something new, and then you have productivity and also social skills as well. So all of these are very important to ensure in the future, and even now when you are learning as a teachers to be, menjadi guru, dan juga di kedepannya ketika Anda menjadi guru, ini adalah hal-hal yang mungkin Anda bukan hanya perlu untuk memiliki, tetapi juga but also share with your student or teach your students the skills. Let's have a look the 4 C's of 21st century skills, which is critical thinking. It means you finding solution to problems. Can be also their problem solving there. And then using your, so critical thinking is a very important skills in this time, because you're gonna have lots of information coming towards you from the internet, but you need to evaluate those information, analyze it as well, not just taking everything. So this will filter you from fake news or false information. So it's very important. But also in teaching your students in the future, it's very important, because this generation is generation that born with internet. Internet is like daily, just like daily food. Like you take food 3 times a day. Internet is like constantly from morning to evening. Even in the 2 a.m. in the morning, you're still in your phone browsing. This is different. We never think like this like 10 years ago, not just 10 years ago. In my generation, the 80s generation, we're not born with internet. Kita generasi tahun 80-an, kami tidak lahir dengan internet. You born with internet, so you need to have critical thinking when you're accessing information. Next, creativity. Well, in this time, you need to be a creative person to be able to survive, but also to contribute to your team. Because you have to provide solution, that you have to think outside the box, you know. So we have some in workplace here, you know, you got, for example, we have to create resources for students to help them to succeed in their academic journey. So we need to find ways to help them to maybe reflect on their learning and understanding, you know, their learning. So yeah, so as a teachers, you need to be creative, especially in the classroom as well, and then moving forward, teaching your students in the classroom to be creative. And then collaboration, working with others, is a very essential skill in 21st century. You are not an individual person, especially in Indonesian community, where community base are very rooted and very you working in community. So di Indonesia kita masyarakatnya masyarakat komunitas ya, jadi berbasis komunitas bukan individual. walaupun di Australia itu individual, tapi collaboration is like the heart of every workplace, so it's very important to learn about collaboration as well in this time, and then also teach your students to collaborate with one another effectively, and communication as well, how you communicate clearly to others. So you can share the message to others accordingly so people can understand you well and effectively. So, and then as a teacher, you need to teach your student how to communicate as well. Next, let's talk about a little bit about what is critical thinking. According to literature, critical thinking refers to a thinking process that encourage a deeper insight into information before making any decision. So, sebelum membuat suatu keputusan, Anda perlu mengevaluasi informasi, lihat ke lebih dalam lagi, oh ini ada kelebihannya apa, kekurangannya apa, sehingga ketika mengambil keputusan, itu keputusan yang bagus. So, that's where your critical thinking, you need to have critical thinking to do that. The evaluation, the analysis, and then you making decision later on. So in the critical thinking process, it's involve higher order thinking, which I'm gonna talk a little bit more later. So critical thinking also focus about not just thinking, but thinking about something we wish to understand more thoroughly. So so it's not just you thinking, bukan hanya berpikir saja, tetapi berpikir sehingga Anda mengetahui sesuatu itu lebih detail. And the purpose of critical thinking is to weigh and evaluate information in a way that enables you to make informed decision. So, ketika Anda melakukan proses critical thinking, ketika Anda mengevaluasi informasi, itu akan membantu Anda mengambil suatu keputusan yang berdasarkan informasi-informasi yang tepat, sehingga keputusan Anda itu keputusan yang tepat. So this is critical thinking. It's not just for teaching, but in daily life you need to have to implement critical thinking in every decision in your life. Dalam setiap keputusan hidup itu perlu critical thinking, because whatever you decide now will influence your future. Apapun yang Anda ambil keputusannya hari ini itu akan mempengaruhi masa depan Anda. Whether your future is gonna be bright or it's gonna be dim. Mungkin kalau keputusan hari ini salah, mungkin masa depan akan suram, atau keputusannya benar, masa depan akan cerah atau lebih baik. So critical thinking involve reasoning, itu harus ada reasoning, ada berargumen, alasan, and then you investigating evidence, you investigate evidence, evidence itu bukti, mungkin dari data, and can be developed through explicit instruction. Dan critical thinking itu bisa diajar. Jadi bukan sesuatu yang lahir langsung ada. Sebenarnya kita belajar dalam hidup itu bagaimana mengambil keputusan gitu. Jadi ada proses evaluasi, ada proses analisa, dan ada proses kemudian pengambilan keputusan. Jadi jangan ambil keputusan duluan baru kemudian evaluasi dan analisa. Itu mungkin kebanyakan kalau melakukan seperti itu, kebanyakan keputusannya mungkin tidak tepat. So let's move on to the next slide. So let's talk more about critical thinking in terms of higher order thinking skills. According to literature, Bloom's and Cradwell, Forhead, kalau dalam versinya yang lama itu dia knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, evaluation. In new version, they change, ada perubahan. Lihat, itu dia remembering, dia lebih ke pakai ing, understanding, applying, analyzing, tapi synthesizing-nya diubah jadi evaluating, jadi evaluating-nya turun, terus creating-nya on the top. Jadi inilah model higher order thinking dari literatur. Let's talk a little bit more about what are higher order thinking skills. Higher order thinking skills are analyzing, evaluating, and creating. And what are them? So, analyze or analyzing means breaking material into its constituent parts and detecting how the parts relate to one another and to an overall structure and purpose includes differentiating, organizing, attribution. Jadi ketika Anda menganalisa sesuatu, Anda melihat hal tersebut secara lebih detail lagi. Kemudian Anda melihat bagaimana hubungan antara konsep dalam hal yang Anda pelajari tersebut. It's include differentiating, membedakan, you organize something, organisasi sesuatu, digrupkan, or attributing something. And then you have evaluating. Evaluating refers to making judgment based on criteria and standard and consists of checking and critiquing. So when you evaluate, ketika Anda mengevaluasi suatu, Anda membuat judgment, penilaian berdasarkan kriteria dan standar. What is the criteria for good teaching, quality teaching? What are the standard of Indonesian teachers professional attributes? Apa standar guru profesional Indonesia? Dan itu Anda mempelajarinya sekarang, but in the future you're gonna be a teachers and you need to teach based on the standard. So, but then you need to teach students also the skills to evaluate as well. You see this? Jadi bukan hanya Anda mempelajarinya dan melakukan dalam kehidupan, tetapi Anda perlu mengajarkannya kepada siswa. So it consists of checking and critiquing. So you check and you critique as well. Kritik here is not something negative. Kritik bukan sesuatu yang negatif. Kritik here in regards to you always question it. You question it so you know that the answer, and then you can actually provide the proper answer. And next, at the top of higher order thinking skills, we have creating. Creating means putting elements together to form a novel, coherent whole, or make an original product, and include generating, planning, and producing. Ketika Anda masuk dalam menciptakan atau menghasilkan sesuatu, itu Anda melalui pembelajaran apa yang sudah Anda lakukan, latihan yang sudah Anda lakukan, analisa, evaluasi, Anda menciptakan suatu ide baru mungkin, atau suatu cara baru, maybe untuk mengatasi suatu masalah, ataupun untuk membuat suatu model baru. So, and then this, as a teacher, you will do this. For example, contohnya ketika Anda akan mengajar di kelas, Anda perlu membuat lesson plan, right? Yeah. Buat lesson plan. In lesson plan making, ketika Anda membuat lesson plan, Anda harus analisa, oh siapa studentnya saya? Ada berapa anak di kelas saya? Apa level mereka? Level, it means what are their learning levels? You know? And then level apa pengetahuan mereka? Dan kemudian Anda mengevaluasi lagi, dari ini metode apa yang tepat untuk saya pakai untuk mengajar supaya tujuan pembelajarannya tercapai. Terus aktivitas apa yang tepat untuk metode untuk ini mengajar topik ini sehingga anak-anak itu aktif, engage, interaktif juga. Jadi tidak passive learning but active learning within the classroom, ya. Yeah? So you evaluate that and then you make decision as a teacher. Dan Anda membuat keputusan sebagai seorang guru dan Anda membuat Anda punya rencana pembelajaran, you create it. It's a product. You producing that, you planning that, you generating it. And then maybe you think, oh, I might need PowerPoint as well. Oh, I might need a YouTube video maybe to give illustration. I might need maybe a canvas, interactive activities, or whatever it is. You make decision and you put it together, and then you produce these good, high quality teaching resources, but then deliver high quality teaching to your students. So this is process of higher order thinking skills. Ini butuh higher order thinking skill. Jangan jadi guru yang nanti lihat buku teks, terus ambil buku teks tanpa peduli who your student are, what the learning outcomes are, and then what the time. Now it's time when you use multimedia, ya, modes, multimodality. Kamu mungkin ada. In Indonesia, maybe it's not so much, but maybe you have a student with special needs who couldn't see. Mungkin Anda punya siswa di kemudian hari yang mungkin tidak bisa melihat, atau dia tidak bisa, ada keterbatasan, dia butuh, mungkin juga dia punya learning difficulties, masalah learning difficulties. So you need to adjust to that student. You still need to deliver high quality teaching to this particular group of students, not just other students. So these are things that you engage as a teacher to be in thinking about, and involved in higher order thinking. I hope that you understand. Saya berusaha menjelaskan supaya relevan. Next. So as a teacher, then you need this knowledge, pedagogical content knowledge. What is pedagogical content knowledge? What is a PCK? So PCK is that special knowledge that you have as a teacher and uniquely province of teachers that form your special understanding of how to teach your students better. Jadi tadi yang saya bilang yang engage dalam higher order thinking sebagai guru itu, proses analisa, evaluasi, dan menciptakan pengajaran itu sebenarnya Anda sedang engage juga dalam proses pedagogical content knowledge. Pedagogical content knowledge itu artinya sebuah ilmu yang harus dimiliki oleh seorang guru ketika Anda mengajar, Anda beda. Misalnya ada orang yang tahu matematika, atau ada orang yang tahu bahasa Inggris, tetapi ketika dia mau ajar bahasa Inggris, dia tidak tahu bagaimana, dan muridnya tidak ngerti, walaupun dia pintar sekali. Nah, ini yang namanya pedagogical content knowledge. Jadi hanya guru saja yang tahu ini, karena guru itu dilatih khusus untuk menjadi seorang guru mengajarkan kepada orang lain, sehingga apa yang diajarkan itu dimengerti. Jadi mungkin pengajarannya bisa melalui ilustrasi, contoh-contoh yang relevan terhadap relevan dengan topik dan terhadap siswanya. So this is what we call PCK, pedagogical content knowledge, and pedagogical content knowledge for you to teach higher order thinking, but also pedagogical content knowledge for you as well. In general. So it's Schulman ada ahli pendidikan, dia ada 7 knowledge kategori, salah satunya ya PCK ini. And I think PCK is the most important knowledge. I know that every knowledge, like every others, are important, but I think this is very important because it's differentiate a teachers from non-teachers. Karena ini membedakan guru dan yang bukan guru. Karena ada orang yang dia ilmunya banyak sekali, tetapi dia tidak bisa mengajarkan ke orang lain. Tapi guru Anda itu dilatih supaya Anda, so you can teach well. So you can communicate well the knowledge to others, which is your student in the future. Next, teachers PCK is their professional knowledge that enables them to transform subject matter. So di PCK itu dia membuat, dengan guru itu mempunyai PCK, sebenarnya dia itu mampu untuk mengubah suatu ilmu itu menjadi ilmu yang bisa ditransfer atau ilmu yang bisa diajarkan ke orang lain dalam bentuk pengajaran dan juga dalam bentuk instruksi-instruksi yang dia punya, sehingga and also mindful of students' ways of learning, sehingga dia consider apa sih murid-murid saya, apa dia visual learners, apa dia tactic learners, different ways of learning, because everyone has different ways of learning. Just hang on a moment. I'm just gonna turn on my light so it's not dark here.
Okay.
I'll just turn on my light.
Okay.
Hopefully it's a little bit brighter. Semoga dia lebih terang ya, presentasinya bagus. Alright. Next, and then so it is kind of a required knowledge for a teacher, so they can to make the lesson teachable, sehingga pelajaran itu menjadi sesuatu yang bisa dipelajari oleh siswa. Tanpa PCK, well, you can talk for hours. Anda bisa bicara sampai 2 jam, tidak ada satu orang pun yang mengerti. But no, you don't want to be that teacher. Anda tidak mau menjadi guru yang seperti itu. You wanna be a teacher who involved in active teaching and learning in the class. So you not want to be someone that make everyone sleep and they wake up. Anda tidak mau jadi seorang guru yang nanti ketika muridnya masuk terus dia bangun, dia tidak tahu dia belajar apa. So you wanna be someone that actually engaging your student in the active learning and active thinking as well. Next, why? This is the question. Why? We already talked about what. Now let's talk about why. Why do you need to understand HOTS and teach HOTS? Kenapa Anda perlu mengerti? Pertama kuncinya, mengerti higher order thinking dulu, baru bisa mengajarkan higher order thinking. Why? Kenapa? So, current curriculum now di Indonesia, curriculum Indonesia, sekarang it requires teachers to develop scientific learning and critical thinking. Scientific learning and critical thinking is higher order thinking, actually. So higher order thinking skills facilitate the development of critical and creative thinking. And then higher order thinking are the requirement of the current Indonesian national curriculum. And it's the main competencies that Indonesian students should have. So as a teacher, you need to understand this and know this and implement this before you teach that. Jadi seorang guru, Anda harus tahu apa itu higher order thinking dulu. Anda implementasikan dalam kehidupan Anda, dalam pengajaran Anda, sehingga Anda ketika ajar ke anak-anak itu betul-betul anak-anak ngerti. Kalau Anda pun tidak mengerti, pasti anak-anak pun setengah-setengah ngertinya. Gitu. And then the Indonesian curriculum in general requires students to develop critical thinking in their learning. And then this is very important because when students experience higher order thinking in their class, then they are being prepared for 21st century life. Karena ketika anak-anak didik di kemudian hari itu diajarkan higher order thinking, maka mereka siap untuk berkompetisi in this 21st century. So that's why you need to understand HOTS and teach HOTS as well. And then, however, ada however-nya. However, akan tetapi, menurut penelitian, facts, ini facts ya, ini fakta, bukan asumsi, karena ini dari literatur penelitian yang ada di Indonesia. Indonesian teachers hold knowledge and practice. Itu bagaimana? Mereka kurang sekali. Kita di Indonesia, teaching and learning is very limited. Kurang. Guru-guru kadang-kadang mereka taruh di dari hasil penelitian ya, Kusuma Stuti, Fauziati, dan Marmanto itu 2019, guru-gurunya taruh di rancangan pembelajaran lesson plan RPP-nya hot objective, higher order thinking objective. Objektifnya tujuannya pembelajarannya higher order thinking. However, in the classroom they didn't do it. There is no hot activities. Boleh dia taruh di situ, siswa mampu menganalisa, siswa mampu mengevaluasi, siswa mampu menciptakan. Itu 3 kan hot. Tapi waktu di kelas tidak ada kegiatan mengevaluasi, tidak ada kegiatan menciptakan, tidak ada kegiatan menganalisa. Bagaimana siswa bisa mencapai tujuan pembelajaran itu kalau tidak ada? Ini hasil penelitian. Kemudian makanya guru Indonesia ini butuh professional learning untuk fokus mengembangkan pengertiannya, pemahamannya terhadap higher order thinking, sehingga ketika they know how to implement it in their teaching practice, sehingga mereka mampu mengimplementasikan. Dan kegiatan hari ini bagus dari kampus kalian, karena kalian mau bisa belajar hari ini mengenai apa sih higher order thinking. That's very good. I would like to give my appreciation to your university dan juga kepada to your lecturer Pak Faki and Pak Hasan Bisri and others who are involved to invite me so I can share about higher order thinking. Karena if you don't understand higher order thinking, how can you teach higher order thinking? Kalau Anda tidak mengerti higher order thinking, bagaimana Anda mengajarkan higher order thinking to your future student? So that's why, that's the fact. Itulah kenyataan di lapangan ya, kenyataannya sangat memprihatinkan. Next, kenyataan yang berikut lagi, ya itu seperti saya sudah bilang tadi, bukan hanya dalam desain dan pembelajaran di kelas yang kurang higher order thinking, tetapi dalam ujian pun demikian, dalam penilaian pun demikian, tidak ada higher order thinking, walaupun mereka taruh di situ, tapi tidak ada. Ini penelitian ini 2019 baru loh. Dia penelitiannya ini soal-soal ujian ya, examine test used by teachers in senior high school from 2016 to 2019. They found most questions just require lower order thinking. Kebanyakan pertanyaan itu hanya lower order thinking. Lower order thinking tadi kalau kita ingat lagi itu tadi apa? Mengingat, itu menghafal, itu menghafal. Terus juga itu apa lagi? Ada implementasi. Tetapi ada juga dia hanya, sorry, I'm just gonna take my notes. Just get my notes. Jadi dia hanya itu tadi seperti saya bilang hanya remembering, mengingat, memahami saja. Itu saja pertanyaannya hanya seputar-seputaran itu. So it is really sad to see that, you know. Jadi bagaimana kita bisa mengajarkan higher order thinking di kelas kalau assessment kita untuk penilaian pun cuma lower order thinking, nanti tidak matching dong. Jadi if you wanna promote higher order thinking, then you put higher order thinking in the design, in the teaching in the classroom, and then in the assessment. So everything matching, in line, align. Jadi kalau misalnya mau encourage higher order thinking, kita dalam rencana pembelajaran RPP harus ada higher order thinking, dalam pengajaran harus ada higher order thinking activities, dalam penilaian harus ada higher order thinking also. So it's all aligned. So and then next, also Indonesian teachers have limited PCK for teaching HOT. So that's why they just teach lower order thinking. Jadi kita punya guru di Indonesia masih kurang sekali untuk pengertian, pemahaman dalam pengajaran, sehingga pengajaran higher order thinking khususnya, sehingga mereka fokusnya cuma lower order thinking saja. Suruh anak-anak catat, ikut buku, hafal ya, hafal ini ya, hafal ya.
That's really true, Dr. Welmince.
You don't want to be that teachers. Anda tidak mau menjadi guru yang seperti itu. It's not the time anymore. Come on, it's 21st century. Ini sudah abad 21. Come on. I will say that way. Come on, wake up. So you
wake up and move on.
Yeah. You as a teachers to be, Anda ini sebagai guru di kemudian hari, you have to wake up and
move on.
You have to actually be kind of ready to take the world. Anda harus siap untuk, you know, face the world, you know, show that guru Indonesia itu bisa. Next, also, if teachers, like I said, if you don't understand HOT, it's impossible for you to teach HOT to your students. So, itu adalah sesuatu yang mustahil kalau Anda sendiri tidak mengerti kontennya, terus Anda ngajar. The next one, still facts. This is still facts. This is from literature. Indonesian government have this curriculum. Having HOT curriculum is a requirement. But it doesn't mean teachers are able to implement it in their classroom without support. Jadi, walaupun pemerintah menyediakan kurikulum, tetapi tanpa support atau tanpa professional learning and development, itu sangat impossible. It's very impossible for teachers to do it. So that's why this kind of activities, this kind of public lecture, this kind of professional development is something that very, very precious. Hal yang sangat-sangat precious for you to be here. Dan you have to give appreciation to your lecturer, to your university, but also to yourself that you are here today in the Saturday morning, which you can go for picnic, but you don't go for picnic, you come and study. Well done. Jadi Anda harus apresiasi diri Anda, punya kesempatan untuk mengembangkan diri Anda di hari Sabtu yang mungkin lebih enak tidur atau lebih enak jalan-jalan ke mall ya, tapi Anda mau belajar hari ini. That's very good. I appreciate you all. Let's see. This is my research that I want to share, still related. So this is my study on EFL teachers HOT perception and practice in Eastern Indonesia. Ini studinya saya mengenai, kan studi PhD saya itu ada 3 bagian. Jadi ada persepsi, terus ada saya buat satu model, implementasi, evaluasi, short term, long term. Jadi ini bagian pertama dari studi saya. Mungkin nanti kalau mau undang lagi bisa untuk bagian kedua, bagian ketiga.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Dr. Welmince.
Iya, Pak.
Di tengah-tengah kita ternyata ada Pak Dekan.
Oh iya, Pak Mahfud.
Dr. Mahfud Junaidi.
Yeah.
Please. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you very much, Mas Arsad, Bu Wilmens.
Iya, iya Pak. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bu Wilmens.
Yeah. Alright, jadi untuk studi ini, I will share first part of my PhD thesis, PhD research, very, very good research. I mean, very insightful as well. I'm working with teachers like for almost like 4 months in a rural area, so experience everything. So this is a study on EFL teachers' perception on practice, bagaimana pandangan dan juga praktek mereka in Eastern Indonesia. Because I come from Eastern Indonesia, saya berasal dari Nusa Tenggara Timur, dari Kupang. Jadi kita kepulauannya provinsi kepulauan, jadi banyak pulau-pulau kecil. Jadi bayangkan kalau daerah terpencil, sungguh-sungguh terpencil.
Luar biasa.
Tidak ada listrik.
Luar biasa.
Kalau terpencil, sungguh-sungguh terpencil, Pak. Tidak ada listrik. Terus kalaupun kalau musim-musim badai seperti hujan, musim timur ya, angin timur itu tidak ada pasokan kapal tidak masuk, berarti BBM langka. Itu artinya BBM satu botol aqua besar itu 50.000 loh.
No electricity, but many mutiara.
Yes.
One of mutiara, Bu Welmintse.
Iya, betul sekali. Banyak mutiara dari timur. Tapi itulah. That's why my heart and my calling. Hati saya dan panggilan saya itu untuk pengembangan pendidikan daerah terpencil, bukan hanya di Indonesia Timur tapi di Indonesia.
Very good,
so,
very good.
Yeah, so it's very interesting to actually working with teachers in rural area. Saya sangat mengapresiasi semua guru yang ada di daerah terpencil. Ketika saya di sana dan melakukan penelitian itu betul-betul mengerti bagaimana susahnya dalam musim hujan, jalan yang rusak, becek, itu yang jalan yang bukan aspal itu harus ke sekolah tiap hari. Kadang mereka terlambat karena bensin tidak ada, tidak bisa ke sekolah, anak-anak juga begitu. Itu suatu tantangan buat kita di Nusantara.
Betul, betul, betul.
So I'm gonna share this as part of presentation today. It's not. I try to make it simple for students. Saya berusaha untuk make it quite simple so everyone can understand. So these are inilah research question that I have that lead my research that time. What is the state of EFL teachers PCK in rural school in Eastern Indonesia, and what are their belief, attitudes, practice in relation to promoting HOT in rural Eastern Indonesia, and what are the PCK needs related to teaching HOT of EFL teachers in rural schools in Eastern Indonesia? Apa sebenarnya level PCK dari guru-guru bahasa Inggris di rural school, terus belief, attitude and practice, terus juga kebutuhan mereka tuh apa sih? Saya pengen tahu. Dan lokasinya seperti saya bilang di Nusa Tenggara Timur, survei itu yang ikut itu dia studinya mixed method, 52 guru dari 31 sekolah. Terus saya punya interview itu in depth, hanya 5 guru, tetapi 5 guru ini kerjanya tuh sampai berapa? Itu pertemuan dengan saya, kita kerja itu dalam 1 minggu itu 3 kali pertemuan, kita ada planning, kita ada observasi, kita ada ngajar. Jadi kita betul-betul itu sangat very demanding hours. Jadi panjang, kerjanya panjang dengan mereka. Terus kita record juga teachingnya, terus kita sama-sama dalam professional learning community itu watch the teaching practice and provide feedback to each other, and then using a framework from Australia as well. So yeah, it's quite a long,
very inspiring. Very inspiring, Bu Welmintse.
Thank you, Pak. Thank you. It's actually I really grateful that the teachers really want to participate, because they say that it's the first time someone is
not only in Eastern Indonesian, but in Western Indonesian is the same, maybe not so far different, Bu Welmintse.
Yes,
in rural areas.
Yes,
in Java,
I think so.
It's similar.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much similar as well. So that's why the teachers in rural area, they're so grateful when someone comes and work with them. And then we work really long hours as well. They really sit down for 8 hours. So
not because the electricity, but because the mindset, Bu Welmintse. Because the mindset of our teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the majority of our teachers their mindset is not so good. Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I appreciate the teachers when they are actually involved actively with me in the research. It's really good, because then the outcomes.
Yeah, they struggle.
Yeah. And then the next one, this is the findings that I found. Ini findingsnya saya, status atau state from Indonesian English teachers PCK pedagogical content knowledge itu for higher order thinking, itu teaching higher order thinking. Mereka itu they base everything on EFL national curriculum and then the textbook, very textbook based, and then very limited innovations, everything just based on textbook. They don't adjust with anything. Tidak ada adjustment. Terus dia EFL curriculum knowledge-nya tuh informs content knowledge-nya, terus inform pedagogical knowledge and approach and everything. Jadi dia seperti begitu. Terus orientation-nya tuh sama on lower order thinking. Jadi seperti yang tadi saya bilang, orientation-nya itu remembering, understanding, and applying. That's all. And then it's very teacher-centered. It's like initiate, response, and evaluate. Jadi model pembelajarannya itu gurunya tanya, muridnya respon, dia evaluasi cepat, selesai, move on. There is no active learning and innovations, not much innovation. So these are the findings from this study. Let me elaborate more. Saya akan jelaskan. Jadi, what are the status of Indonesian EFL teachers' knowledge and practice? So the model has shown that the national EFL curriculum inform the content of the teacher's EFL lesson, which based on prescribed textbook, indicates that pedagogical practice of these teachers was shaped by a teacher-centered approach oriented toward teaching lower order thinking. Jadi betul-betul dia inform based itu dari kurikulum terus ke textbook karena dikasih textbook, tetapi tanpa ada penyesuaian sehingga bisa masuk juga higher order thinking, just very lower order thinking. Survei yang saya kasih ke guru-guru itu show that teachers rarely developing higher order thinking in their teaching. 40% is quite high for that number. And over
ada hubungannya dengan usia, Miss? Ada nggak usia?
No, it's all just the English teachers.
Yes, I mean the rarely use adjustment. Ada hubungannya dengan usia guru yang mungkin yang guru yang
everyone. And then a quarter of the survey report that they never use higher order thinking questioning technique in their lessons. So this is 26.9, and teachers gave little consideration to HOT in their teaching. So this is the fact. This is similar to the finding from Western Indonesia. That's why ketika tadi Pak Mahmud bilang sama dengan Indonesia Barat, yes, sama, persis. Indonesia Timur Barat ada kemiripan bahwa kebanyakan ke lower order thinking.
Yes, right. I agree with you.
So it's not much different because it's confirmed. Yeah, it's confirmed the literature from western part of Indonesia that I showed you earlier in my presentation. Jadi dia confirm saja. Next, an analysis of the data. This is about their belief as well. Show that this is the teachers that working with me. They have limited understanding of higher order thinking and had little exposure to it. Jadi memang betul sekali ketika gurunya tidak mengerti tentang higher order thinking dan tidak terlalu terekspos dengan itu, bagaimana mereka mau ajar ke anak-anak? So it's good that your university do it. Once again, I say it. So you have exposure to what is higher order thinking, and you can start think about it. It's a good start to think about it, develop your thinking on it. And then also they said they had little understanding on how to teach HOT to their students in junior. Teachers are from most junior high school that I'm working with them in professional learning community. And then that's why they just teach remembering, understanding, and applying. And so it's all lower order thinking once again. And then the interview and lesson plan revealed also the same. They did not teach HOT activities. And whatever they teach, they said it's too complex for them. And it's too complex for students. So they themselves already think it's too hard. So that's why they said, I'm not going to teach my students because it's too hard for me. Well, that's the reality. And the
that's the reason why Pak Mahfud said that's the mindset.
And then the next one, Indonesian teachers believe that their students did not have capacity. This is really outrageous. mereka sudah pikir, murid-murid saya itu tidak mampu tuh ini untuk belajar higher thinking. Jadi buat apa saya capek pengajar itu? Which is very sad. They shouldn't have that thinking. Kan mereka sudah berasumsi.
In Java also like that. Yeah, precisely. They think that the students have no ability.
Which is very sad, Pak.
Menyedihkan
karena all our students I think have the capacity for learning. It's just us as teachers have to engage in higher order thinking ourselves. Itu berarti mereka pun tidak engage di higher order thinking in their practice as a teachers. So and then also mereka respond juga. They did not understand the concept, so they didn't believe that they could include it in their lesson. Just because they don't understand, so they don't include it. So And then also the next one, so they believe that so it's like they underestimate their abilities to learn higher order thinking as well. Maaf, saya minum. Di sini musim dingin, Pak. Jadi harus minum air hangat terus. Pardon me.
Apalagi kalau di Kupang panas ya, Bu ya. Very hot ya.
Very hot. Yeah, it's very cold now. Pardon me. Maaf. Next, so they actually didn't really understand their learners because they also underestimate their learners' ability. Jadi mereka tidak belajar tentang murid-murid mereka itu kemampuannya seperti apa. So and then from the video observation, it's revealed that most of the teaching are really lower order thinking. It's just routine activities, just recalling information, mengingat, repeating, mengulangi, terus copying teachers from notes to from blackboard. Jadi ditulis di papan, ditulis terus siswanya tulis lagi di bukunya. So it's it's what I found.
That's your era, our era.
Yeah. Next. What our Indonesian teachers believe still? So it seems like there is a systemic gap. Ada gap dalam sistem. Tidak ada professional learning to help them integrate HOT. Jadi tidak ada ya untuk guru-gurunya kan tadi tidak mengerti konsep HOT. Terus professional learning yang available untuk mereka pun itu sangat limited, sangat terbatas. So this is why their PCK for teaching HOT is limited as well, not developed. So that's why it's good that if university allows students to have different professional development and opportunity for guest speakers to come and teach them different concepts. So it's actually make them a job ready, graduates ready for 21st century, with 21st century skills. And then in these 5 teachers, in their interview, they only focus on lot. And then also they have believed students are not capable of learning a HOT because it's too complex. And then they have little or prior knowledge of English, so that they don't believe that students will able to learn HOT as well. And then what are the needs? From the research, my research, it shows that the needs first, kebutuhan yang utama itu to develop a sound understanding of HOT concept in the curriculum. Mereka harus mengembangkan dulu pengertian mereka yang betul-betul matang tentang konsep HOT, sehingga mereka bisa mengajar HOT di kelas, memasukkan HOT dalam pengajaran mereka. And then to prepare and develop lesson plan, ini kebutuhan mereka untuk menyiapkan rancangan pembelajaran dan mengembangkan rancangan pelajaran with teaching strategies that encourage critical and creative thinking through HOT instruction as required by 2013 EFL curriculum that time. Mereka butuh dilatih untuk mengembangkan dan menyiapkan RPP dengan strategi-strategi HOT, aktivitas HOT dalam pembelajaran mereka. Setelah mereka mengembangkan, mereka punya pemahaman terhadap HOT konsep, mereka perlu dilatih. Terus perlu juga melatih mereka untuk redesign or modify textbook. Kadang-kadang hanya ikut textbook saja. Jadi perlu untuk pelatihan untuk meredesign, desain ulang atau modification dari kegiatan-kegiatan yang ada di textbook untuk mendesain learning activities that promote higher order thinking. and also employ resources that are available in the local area of each school. Kadang-kadang ada resources yang tidak bisa didapat, itu mungkin bisa menggunakan resources yang ada di sekeliling sekolah, mungkin alam atau hal-hal yang ada yang tersedia secara lokal dan gratis dan mudah dijangkau oleh guru itu. Berikut yang utama juga adalah to develop detailed task kriteria task atau rubrik untuk assessment untuk dari setiap aktivitas yang ada memasukkan HOT ke dalam juga dalam rencana pembelajaran mereka. Nah, mungkin ini hal-hal yang guru-guru itu perlu kebutuhan. Mungkin itu di Eastern Indonesia, tapi mungkin juga itu bisa ditransferkan ke Indonesia Barat.
Ya, tempat lain. Ini
adalah contoh example of HOT activities, 6 thinking hat. Ini contoh aktivitas HOT mungkin yang bisa dipakai di kelas. Ini aktivitasnya tuh 6 thinking hat, 6 topi berpikir gitu. Jadi ada blue hat, ada blue hat, ada itu thinking about and managing thinking process, ada green hat itu creative idea tadi yang generating idea seperti itu masuk tadi yang higher order thinking menciptakan kan, menghasilkan. Terus ada juga di sini intuition and feelings, red hat itu thinking about how you feel. So it's analyzing masuk ke dalam. Terus ada juga yellow hat, optimist hat, benefits and values. This is also evaluating. Caution also. Black hat is caution. And then white hat is about the factual hat, which is remembering information or recalling information. So this maybe you can use as well in your teaching. So this is example of HOT activities. And then, for example, this is an example of activities that you can use in your class. For example, in your in a group, choose a problem that now, for example, climate change. You know, it's big problem. It's a wicked problem that's so hard to solve. According to your interest, or maybe plastic pollution. You know, for example, in the classroom, you talk about this, and then you can use this 6 thinking hat to help students to analyze, evaluate, and create a solution or discuss the topic, and then they can share to each other in the classroom. So this is an example of activity that you can use for higher order thinking activities in the classroom. And then next, you can also maybe use these activities for analyzing. So you can use 5 W's and 1 H activities. Very simple. Itu menggunakan pertanyaan what, who, when, where, why, and how to analyze and discuss a topic. And then you can present with each other. So it's not that hard. Itu tidak sulit sebenarnya higher thinking itu ada di kelas. Hanya harus tahu mungkin model, harus tahu konsepnya seperti apa sehingga kita ketika memilih aktivitas pembelajaran di kemudian hari, itu aktivitasnya matching gitu sama tujuan pembelajarannya. Kalau higher order thinking, aktivitas harus higher order thinking. Dan juga assessment-nya harus higher order thinking juga. Jangan kembali lagi, tujuan higher order thinking, pembelajaran higher order thinking, assessment lower order thinking. That's not matching. Everything has to be matched. Align. Oke, kita sampai pada akhir presentasi, tapi belum berakhir karena saya mau untuk semua yang ikut kita masuk dalam proses reflection of what is your next for you HOT learning. Apa sih supaya jangan pasif ya. Ini apa yang kita pelajari itu bisa emphasize more in your brain. Kita pakai ini metakognisi, ini praktis metakognitif. Kita pakai KWL chart to help you reflect on your learning today. Kita mau reflect on your learning today. Pembelajaran hari ini dengan saya. So, I want you to maybe share. What do I know? What do I want to know? What did I learn? Apa yang saya tahu dari presentasi ini? Apa yang mau lagi saya pelajari? Dan apa yang sudah saya pelajari? Ini 3 pertanyaan. Mungkin nanti saya kasih waktu 1 menit berpikir atau 2 menit. Setelah itu saya akan mungkin sebut namanya. Ada kan namanya di screen?
Ada. Oke, siap-siap ya ini ya.
Ini siap-siap ya. Ini saya lihat sebut-sebut nama di sini. Kita bisa mulai dari guru-gurunya dulu, lecture-nya dulu, dosennya. Supaya setelah itu baru mahasiswa beberapa.
Kalau gurunya nanti ngasih contekan, Miss.
Kita mulai mungkin nanti dari Pak Faki duluan, gitu kan? Karena itu junior, jadi Pak Faki dulu. Terus nanti baru anak mahasiswa di kelas itu nanti saya sebut namanya nih. Ini ada nama-nama semua di sini. Jadi siap-siap ya, semua harus berpikir. Engage in active thinking.
Yes.
Jadi, what do I know from today's session? Saya tahu apa sih? And then what do I want to know? Apa yang mau saya tahu lagi? Mau saya pelajari lebih lagi? And what did I learn? 3. So it's like a takeaway message gitu. Message
Okay, so
untuk Anda berpikir.
it's gonna start from me, Mrs.
You can.
Julia.
Yes.
All right. So what do I know? So exactly what is really important matter in 21 centuries. That's what do I know. And what do I want to know? I'm just having curiosity why Western Indonesian teachers want to participate. As you said, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be like demanding, and it's gonna be like difficult. So they have basically underestimate, you know. So that's what I wanna know. What did I learn? So this is very important thing that I have to implement in my activity as well as a teacher, as a lecturer in my university. So I'm gonna be, improving my content of knowledge and putting more and analyzing more and evaluating and creating more. So this
fantastic, Pak Fakih. Fantastic.
Yeah,
thank you for sharing. Maybe.
Give applause.
Yeah, very good. Maybe Pak.
Luckily, I'm not sleeping. Otherwise, I don't know how to answer.
Yes. And the next is Pak
Fakih student.
Oh, student. Pak Fakih.
Fakih student.
Pak Fakih student boleh. Pak Fakih student. Siapa Pak Fakih? Pak Fakih pilih satu yang Pak Fakih kan kenal toh?
Oh ya, boleh.
Mungkin Pak Bisri boleh membantu siapa?
Oh gitu. Oke, ya ini yang perempuan.
Pilih student. Ya, pilih perempuan 2, laki-laki 2. Saya mau dengar dari Pak. Pilih random saja Pak, supaya tahu mereka tidak tidur.
Ya. Random, terserah kamu aja.
Mbak Nur Rohmah Zulika.
Iya.
Oke, Mbak Nur Rohmah Zulika bisa menjawab 3 pertanyaan ini ya. Halo Mbak Nur Rohmah.
Oh, menghilang ini.
Menghilang.
Good.
Tunjuk menghilang.
Good checking. You can, mungkin yang lain lagi kalau.
Oke, Mas dulu inilah, Mas Muhammad Hilmi Labib, silakan.
Hilmi Labib, please.
Yes, me, sir.
Okay.
What's question?
3 questions on the screen. What do you know?
Do you know from the presentation? What do you want to know? And then what do you learn? Did you learn?
Okay. I'm so sorry. I will to speak about Indonesian language.
That's okay. All good.
Okay. Jadi di pagi hari ini saya menangkap beberapa topik menarik terkait dengan yang pertama critical thinking. So soal critical thinking itu bukan suatu hal yang ada dari lahir. Jadi kita itu bisa melatih critical thinking dengan cara evaluasi, dengan cara belajar lebih giat, ya dan lain sebagainya seperti itu. Kemudian sangat disayangkan sekali topik yang kedua soal permasalahan kurikulum di Indonesia. Jadi di sini tuh apa ya? Seperti yang dikatakan oleh Miss, di Indonesia itu di RPS, contohnya di RPS guru itu ada soal evaluasi dan sebagainya, tapi itu tidak dipraktekkan. Hanya mempraktekkan soal catat lalu pahami, hanya seperti itu. Jadi ini apa ya? Sebagai PR buat guru-guru di Indonesia agar bisa lebih profesional dalam mengajar. Saya
Second
kurang
question.
lebih seperti itu.
Second question. What do you want to know?
What do you want to know? What about it? Indonesianya apa?
Untuk kamu, apa yang mau kamu belajar lebih lagi setelah dengar topik pengajaran hari ini tentang high order thinking? Sebagai seorang calon guru, apa yang mau kamu kembangkan?
Jadi dari saya sendiri, planning saya selama belajar di WIN itu pertama saya harus punya jadwal dalam belajar. Sehingga dengan adanya jadwal belajar saya bisa tekun, saya bisa disiplin, dan begitu otomatis critical thinking itu bisa tambah dari saya gitu, tambah pengetahuan saya. Mungkin lewat kedisiplinan dalam belajar, seperti itu.
And then what did you learn? Yang ketiga lagi, apa yang telah kamu pelajari hari ini?
Ya, jadi yang bisa saya pelajari hari ini sebagai calon pengajar, kita itu harus bisa memahami karakteristik dari siswa. Jadi bukan hanya monoton kita berbicara menyuruh siswa dan mahasiswa untuk mencatat kemudian selesai. Tapi kita juga harus mengolah agar bagaimana sih pengajaran itu bisa menarik dan bisa dipahami sekaligus bisa dipraktekkan oleh siswa.
That's very good. You nail it. Artinya very good.
Thanks.
Thank you. Pak, tambah satu yang cewek.
Okay, once more.
Lady.
Okay.
Lady, please.
Ada yang mau want to be volunteer to answer for
Tunjuk.
female? If there is no, I will choose.
Ya, Pak choose aja. Ini kayaknya
Choose
supaya
ya,
tahu.
okay.
Choose one of them.
Choose one. Yang jadi MC tadi Mbak Naim, Mr. Ceremony, Miss Ceremony.
Oh, tadi ada. Ini ada yang ini Pak. Ada yang raise hand. Ada yang raise hand.
Oh, ada yang raise hand. Oh.
Yang raise
Mas
hand.
Jalal, this is
Yeah,
male student. Never mind.
Iya, tidak masalah. Yang raise hand itu kan mau.
Oke, Mas Jalal, please. Silakan.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity. Before perkenalkan, my name is Galang Jalaluddin. I'm from International Class Program of Religious Department, WIN Wali Songo Semarang, and in second semester now. So I want to answer the first question. What do I know? Jadi ini apa yang saya pelajari tadi gitu ya?
What do you know? Yeah.
So many things yang saya pelajari dari sini tuh banyak sekali. Yang pertama tadi ada bagaimana kita sebagai guru untuk mempersiapkan diri kita untuk tidak hanya menyiapkan RPS yang di dalamnya itu bersifat HOTS gitu, high order orientation thinking itu. Tapi bagaimana kita juga dapat mengimplementasikan semua kurikulum itu agar bisa dipahami oleh murid-murid kita. So I want to tell something. Saya dulu saya juga minta maaf karena saya pakai bahasa Indonesia.
That's okay. All good. We are
saya dulu pernah.
You are in Indonesia, so it's good.
Iya. Jadi waktu SD, saya dulu pernah ingin bertanya. Ya, saya termasuk orang yang sering bertanya dengan guru saya gitu. Tapi suatu saat guru saya itu malah bentak saya gitu. Kamu itu banyak tanya gitu. Jadi kesimpulan yang saya dapat waktu saya masih SD, the teacher is like good gitu. Jadi the student must follow the teacher because the teacher ini yang dianggap tahu segalanya gitu. Jadi kita hanya copy paste, manusia copy paste guru gitu. Jadi itu saya pikir itu yang salah satu membuat murid-murid di Indonesia tidak memiliki HOTS ini.
Karena tadi itu belief, the teachers has belief that students are not capable, so they stop them to ask questions. Itu misbelief, ya.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the next question is, what do I want to know?
Yes.
What do I want to know ini apa yang akan saya
kamu ingin pelajari lagi gitu.
Pelajari lagi.
Apa yang ingin saya pelajari lagi, terutama I want to know how to improve the logical. Soalnya gini, high orientation thinking ini kan membutuhkan sekali bagaimana kita memakai logika ini. Jadi dari SD, SMP dan SMA, saya rasa murid-murid di Indonesia ini jarang sekali diajari bagaimana cara berpikir gitu. Bagaimana cara berlogika yang baik gitu. Yaitu mungkin untuk diri saya sendiri, untuk kedepannya agar mempelajari bagaimana kita berpikir lebih filosof, kemudian memperbaiki cara-cara berlogika yang kurang benar ini.
Yeah. And the last one, what did I learn? What do you learn? What did you learn?
What did I learn ini bedanya sama yang nomor 1 apa ya?
Sebenarnya yang nomor 1 itu what do I know tuh what you know. Apa yang kau tahu gitu. What did I learn? What you learn from today?
From today class.
So what did I learn? Apa ya? Saya masih belum bisa menangkap ini poin nomor 3 ini.
What from the session, what things that resonate to you? Dari session ini apa yang take away message for you gitu?
Ya, yang kamu pelajari apa tadi gitu?
Nah, yang kamu dapatkan dari sini.
Oh ya. Yang saya dapatkan adalah banyak sekali, terutama bagaimana kan ada metode yang namanya andragogi, terus pedagogi itu juga perlu diperdalami lagi. Karena pengajaran untuk usia remaja, usia tua, dan usia anak-anak itu sangat berbeda sekali. Mungkin like this.
Alright, thank you very much for sharing. Anyway, that's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
One more
ya, female
cewek tadi belum.
Ya.
Yang cewek kan belum.
Yang perempuan belum. Yang female Mbak Naim. Miss Naimatus Sa'adah, Miss Naim siapa tadi ya? Halo Mbak Naim.
That's okay. If they don't feel comfortable to speak, that's fine. All right. So I think, so I think it's very good to use this. This is also an example. Ini contoh higher order thinking activities ya.
Thinking, that's right.
You analyze gitu, terus you evaluate, and then you also kind of coming up with or have a planning for your learning goals. Jadi learning goals-nya itu what do I want to know gitu. Yeah. So, thank you so much. And then I think we come to the end of the presentation. I just want to share a quick one. This is my favorite.
Dr. Juliette, can I ask something before you close this?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So as I said before, when somebody want to do research, for example, and then they try to convince the participant or the object, but they ignore, or maybe they don't want to involve. So what we are gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, experiment, man.
Ya, jadi tadi Dr. Juliette bilang banyak orang yang awalnya nggak mau. Gimana caranya so they want to get involved in our research participant? Cara meyakinkannya gimana?
Make it simple for them using simple language. Maybe people probably think it's too hard, but you can start just using a simple language and then build a relationship first would be important. When you already have a relationship with them, it's easier, to explain, using a simple language.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Itu masalah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Juliet.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Very good presentation, Bu Juliet.
Thank you, Pak.
I'm as Vice Dean of Wali Songo State University. I would like to say thank you very much to you for your very good presentation.
You're welcome,
Next
Pak.
time I will invite you again, inshallah.
Ya, terima kasih Pak. Kalau ada kesempatan ya, masih sehat-sehat kita semua. Ya.
Amin.
Yeah, I'm just gonna close my presentation with this verbs. This is saya kalau dari Indonesia Timur kami mayoritas Kristen, di Indonesia Barat mayoritas Muslim. Tapi ada satu proverbs yang sangat resonate to me. This is very important to me. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Dan saya rasa sebagai umat beragama dimanapun, kita percaya bahwa takut akan Tuhan itu permulaan dari pengetahuan, tetapi orang bodoh itu menghina hikmat dan didikan. I just want to share that because that's very important to me. And then I think as a learner, sebagai seorang pembelajar, kita harus selalu terbuka untuk hikmat dan didikan. Kalau kita tidak terbuka untuk hikmat dan didikan, maka kita menjadi orang bodoh. Dan yang paling utama adalah takut akan Tuhan. Itu sangat penting. Iman itu sangat penting dalam sebagai seorang akademi, tapi juga sebagai seorang pembelajar. Karena saya mengajar di kampus asing, kampus barat, dan banyak di sini mungkin mereka tidak percaya Tuhan. Tetapi kita dari Indonesia, kita adalah umat beragama yang mendasarkan segala sesuatu pada iman. Jadi itu yang saya mau sharing, itu sangat penting.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's similar with Islam.
Amazing.
Miss Juliet.
Yeah, amazing, Miss.
Amazing.
She has a connection problem. Yeah, Mr. Juliet has a connection problem. So,
connection problem. Okay, welcome back. I'm sorry, your speaker, your microphone, Miss Juliet, your microphone still mute. I'll try unmute here.
Yeah, I just want to say all the best for your study and God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me, Miss Juliet.
Yeah.
It's very good proverb, very good wise sentence.
Yeah, I think it's very important.
Dari siapa ini? Siapa yang ngomongkan ini? Apakah Miss Juliet sendiri?
Bukan, itu dari salah satu ayat dalam kitab suci.
From Bible.
From
Bible.
Yeah. Tapi saya rasa itu penting untuk kita sebagai pembelajar untuk selalu ingat bahwa takut akan Tuhan itu permulaan dari pengetahuan. Dimanapun. Yes. And then karena orang bodoh itu ya dia menghina hikmat dan didikan. Kita semua bukan mau jadi orang bodoh. Jadi itulah makanya sebagai seorang yang belajar di negara barat, saya rasa itu hal yang harus selalu saya ingat karena banyak ideologi dunia barat yang berbeda dengan kita di Indonesia.
Yeah, I agree with you very much.
Thank you very much everyone for having me. I give back to the moderator.
Okay,
thank you so much everyone, and please give applause to Dr. Welmince Julete. Thank you so much as well for inspiring us. It's really amazing, and I think we get like so many insightful in this moment. So, ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of part of the seminar. Before I close this seminar, I would like to take the conclusion that I have gained from this seminar, just for a little bit. So, as we already understand that hot or high order thinking is really important, especially for us in the 21st century, especially for us in the major of education that lead students to be a lecturer, students, or relate what they're gonna do like a teacher as well. So hot is really important. And especially, you know, if you aware, nowadays Indonesia use generasi Y and generasi Z, you know, that's called millennials, yeah, Y and Z. So Y and Z is really important to know these things. So they are gonna do implement what they have gained or what they got from the knowledge. So therefore they can implement in daily life, especially in their activities. And a speaker also said about, you know, her foundings about her PhD research, that in in Eastern Indonesia, so many, how to say, teachers down there feel that hot is not really important at the moment, but hot is really important somehow. They try to, you know, the speakers try to convince them that hot is really important and hot is really usable. Therefore, they can transfer the knowledge to be transferable. Therefore, student can understand and can, you know, implement the knowledge. So I think that's my conclusion at the moment. So if you want to know more, we can share our her PPT, so you can read it in detail, or I already share in the messenger about her research, so you can have a look in details if you want to know more. I think that's my conclusion, and thank you so much for all your participation, for your attention, and for your, you know, quality of your, what to say, engaging in this moment. And I'd like to thank to Pak Mahfud, Pak Bisri, dan all students, especially for the speakers who you know, give her time in the weekend, which is really hard, because weekend is time for, you know, relax, time for maybe for enjoy the activity after, you know, the busy and really tough activity during weekdays. So I would like to thank you so much, Dr. Wilmincha, for your time.
You are welcome. It is my pleasure to share.
And then finally, I will give this time to moderator, MC, for closing this seminar. And I would say thank you so much, and sorry for being mistake in handling this moderator. Thank you so much. I give to you.
Thank you.
Okay, Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. We have come to the end of the event. We apologize for any shortcomings, and we thank you all for your participation. May Allah give His mercy on us. Thank you all for making time in your busy schedules to join us here this morning. Wish you all a pleasant day. We say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi.